today. I'm your host, Denise Mahaffey, and my lovely co-host, Tasha Jackson. We are
Nice
here
to
not
see
taking
everyone. Thank you for
spirituality seriously whatsoever.
no, because this is our life. It's like if you take it too seriously, then you get all depressed and sad, and so you just learn to laugh at life. We live, we love, we laugh. It's on the website frequencytoday.com.
Oh my gosh. So here we've put together a platform called Frequency Today. And that's because every day it changes and it can change moment to moment. We've seen so many synchronicities over the past few years that Tasha and I have been texting each other whatever we see. And strangely, she will see the same things that I'm seeing pretty much at the same point during the same day. And she lives states away. I'm not joking, we have proof.
Yeah. So we've been documenting. So I always tell people when I describe, okay, so I'm just going to tell you, Denise, because I don't know if I had told you this or not. So I have described our relationship to people as that Ghostbusters, the one with Melissa McCarthy and Kate McKinnon, the two of them. I'm like, that's us because we are documenting all of these seemingly paranormal activities, right? We're documenting it and keeping track of it and trying to make sense of it so that we can share it with other people and say, look, you're not crazy. This is real. The things that you're experiencing are happening to you. There are things beyond your senses, beyond your realm of, belief of what you see and what you hear in this world. And they're real. These things are real, which is kind of cool and fun.
And those things fall under the category of wacky woo and freaky foo.
As we have come to very, I don't know, lovingly call them, because sometimes there's just like, you can't make this shit up. There's that category. That's a general broad category for just about everything. But in the spiritual community, it's a saying. It's a real saying that in the spiritual community people use is you can't make this shit up. It's just things that are so incoincidental. Absolutely, they cannot be a coincidence. There are too many factors. There are too many things that have to line up. There's just, you're in that moment, you're at that exact place at that exact time doing that exact thing, and you see a thing and you're just like, that's not a coincidence. You can't make that shit up. So just know it's a thing.
And those
But we've
things,
categorized them because we're paranormal scientists, self-proclaimed.
so the things that we see are repetitive numbers. Honestly, I wouldn't have believed it unless I saw it. I shared some of the time-lapse video photography that I've taken with Tasha, and she's taken screenshots and sent them back to me, and I'm just floored at what she's picking up on that I didn't pick up on, and I'm the one that's taking it. So, I mean, it's kind of freaky. And when we talk
Yeah.
about foo, foo is the technical term for light. So, welcome to the wacky world of light working.
Yeah. And, it's okay. So what's so interesting is that I have been on this journey my entire life, right? I have been consciously aware that I am on a spiritual journey, and that I, since a child, am moving from one position in life to another position in life. Okay. Religious people would call them stations, right? Um, and so I understand that. I understand the spiritual path. I understand those things, but it still is this. So there's also this cognitive dissonance. So cognitive dissonance is that there's a gap in between what your previous beliefs were, and then kind of your world gets blown up And then now you have this alternate perception of reality that your ego still can't comprehend. Did I do a good job explaining cognitive dissonance? And so a lot of the things that fall in freaky foo and wacky woo and some of the other things that we are experiencing on a multi-dimensional level, right? Because we're multi-dimensional beings. That those things fall under this cognitive dissonance where it's just some of it is just like, no way, are you kidding? What? Sometimes that's the reaction, and then sometimes the reaction is like, oh, of course. But then there are other things that are very awe-inspiring, seeing the sunset in just a particular way, right? Again, it falls along the entire frequency of being frustrated because you have some kind of calamity, like my dryer going out last week, right? So like, oh, I can't believe this is happening to me right now, all the way to the stunning, beautiful nature show that sometimes happens as a result of the beautiful skies that I'm able to experience, and feeling that like, oh, I can't believe this is happening to me. So I don't know. What am I trying to say? How would you explain your experience with wacky woo and freaky foo? Similar or no?
It started with numerology. I started seeing repetitive numbers and I thought, what is going on? And it wasn't just double digits, it's quadruple digits or beyond quadruple digits. And it happens often. So I actually had to do a lot of research into what do these numbers mean on a spiritual level, and different sequences mean different things. So when you're seeing 111, that's go, that's foot to the floor, that's go. 222 is just amazing, amazing synchronicities. Threes are changes upon you. 4, you're spiritually guided, so trust what's happening. 5, there's more change, but it's coming from a higher power. The 6s, don't even freak out about it. That's a good thing because your reality is changing. The 7s, people are attuned to the 7s because it's good luck. The 8s, that's infinity. So wow, when you start seeing multiple 8s, holy moly, that's a good sign. The 9s, you're close to completion. So and then the 0s, it's a total reset. It's a fresh slate. Here you go. And as Tasha was saying, these cycles happen. It's not just a one and done. It's an evolution. So that's what I can share as far as what I've experienced with numerology, but it happens all the time.
Hey, we're taking a short break to say thank you so much for watching Frequency Check. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on all of our other social media platforms. And most importantly, don't forget to buy us a coffee and check out our coffee shop.
One of the things that that was channeled to me as you were talking was so not a lot, but there are some popular movies that are out that have spoken about synchronicities in the past. So the movie by Jim Carrey, 23, I think. I've never seen it because I think it's like a horror type movie or something. I'm not really sure, but I thought it's something. I'm very sensitive to like scary, gory horror kinds of things, or violence with psychosis, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre I never watched as a kid ever growing up. So those kinds of things. So I think it falls under that category, but I think that's what it is like he starts seeing the number 23 everywhere and he starts questioning, what does it mean? So if anyone knows about that movie, they can please shed some, give me the synopsis in the comments. But the movie, that would be one example, right, of seeing signs and synchronicities everywhere. And then there's another movie that Matt Damon made that was it kept restarting. He kept restarting. And then once he realized that it kept restarting, the simulation kept restarting, and then he figured out how to get out of it, because he would see the same things and he would do the same things. Free Guy is another recent movie that came out. So these movies have been all over. And so those are just some other examples of that type of reality being reflected in that space, that these are real things that happen. And so they made a movie about it because it's interesting, right? It's an interesting thing. Whether you believe in it or not, you can just say, well, at least it's something interesting, good for those people over there that believe in it. And then the people over here that believe in it are going to be like, do you know how many times those seemingly random numbers have saved me and from some situation, or helped me to make the decision that I needed to make, and things went in the way that they were, divinely guided to. So that's about that.
That's all I have to say
That
about
was that download. That was that channeling that came through, was to say something about that movie in particular.
I love it. So again, we seriously can't make this bleep up. It really happens. We go through synchronicities every day. We text each other, and inevitably she'll be experiencing the same thing in a different part of the country.
Yeah. Like wearing black. Look, we're both wearing black. We did not plan that.
Nope. We did not do the twinsies. Hey, what are you wearing? Not at all.
Let's show up wearing the same thing. Okay. So another thing that is a synchronicity is different animals. So different animals will pop up, and I think the animals are a little bit more difficult to discern, except if it's an animal that is not in its normal state of being. So for example, I was in a place that has quail, and quail, the type of quail that we have in the desert, they're monogamous pairs. And it is so rare to see a quail that is not in a monogamous pair. It's so rare, so very rare. And so if I see a quail that is not in a monogamous pair, as happened to me a couple years ago, I saw a quail and it brought to my attention, oh my gosh, there's a quail, right? Because that is something that it is not in its natural state, okay? To see one quail completely by itself just chilling. That's not a thing. So, but then there's a construction company named Quail. So that same day, I was driving somewhere else, and I saw this construction sign for a quail. And then I'm driving on the highway, and then there's a truck, another type of truck for another type of company or another type of business that is associated with quail. So that would be another example of an animal synchronicity. Another really great example would be, I came home one night and I was locking the gate, and I turned at some exact moment because something was like, hey, turn around, right? Like you get those channelings, or you get those downloads, or you get those whatever, and you turn, and at the exact moment, an owl flew over me. And I was watching the owl just fly, and they're silent, right? So if I had not looked up, I would have never known that owl was there. And that owl was, I mean, I couldn't reach out and touch it, but it was pretty low flying for me to have seen that it was an owl. So, uh-oh, there we go. So that's another example Another huge example. And the owl is one of my spirit animals, is a spirit totem for me. So that was a huge sign for me to have seen an owl in that exact moment.
Yeah, I agree. The animals that I've come across, or that have come across me, let's put it that way. There were hawks that would fly into the backyard as I was journaling, and one of them literally put the brakes on. And so I have this hawk in my face, just wings flowing, like my hair was blown back like a wind machine. And I was like, is this really happening? So that to a pair of coyote that just were scampering through the neighborhood and happened to stop, and I freaked them out. Obviously, they didn't expect to see me, at 3 a.m. journaling. So yeah, nature is so cool. And some of the other things are like the Canadian geese that are out here. To hear them honking at daybreak is amazing. And when you look up what the spirit totem is about that, it's about leadership. So you really, when you get to take a look around at nature and life that's happening all around us, there are synchronicities and signs. I would classify the animal kingdom as part of the spirit totem and signs category, but definitely take a look at everything that's happening around you. It might seem strange in the moment, but there's a hidden meaning behind it if you dig a little bit deeper and you research into it. So that's what we have been doing for the past few years, is mentioning the synchronicities that happen, and we have irrefutable proof that it's way deeper. That'll be for like a whole show in and of itself. But the things that we've experienced, states
will present our evidence.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, synchronicities are real.
The synchronicities are real.
Stay tuned.
They're pretty wacky woo, I gotta tell you. But and that brings variety and fun to life, right?
Yeah.
So
well, and I think too that it makes you so much more of so aware. You're tapped in more. And it's not like you're looking for the synchronicities, but it's just when you're more relaxed and you're more in the flow of things, it's just you see these things and then you have an inner knowing about what it is that they mean. And so I think it gives such a different dimension when, I have taught my kids that every time we go out at night, we look up, right? Or every time that we go out into nature, we look down. What's happening, what's happening under our feet, right? And when we look up, to wonder what else is out there in the stars, right? And so I think it adds, a different layer and a different dimension to life that you can appreciate and enjoy, because honestly, sometimes life on this planet ain't where it's at. Someone I know used this phrase, that's for the birds, right? And so it's these kinds of pleasurable moments that add that, I'm having a bad day, I'll go outside and I'll just look and breathe. And then there will be some kind of majestic creature that flies across my path. And then just everything is okay. Everything is okay. Everything is going to be fine. And so that's the way that I commune with nature, or I feel a part of everything that's going on, because I think that in our day-to-day lives, we can feel so busy and disconnected.
I completely agree with you.